started with two spirits, one rebellious, the other moist as heck, locked in an endless battle to the death.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what.
Now this is a way to make a splash when you're entering League of Legends. Obviously, it's our second year in the league. It's not our first. Our first year, we were kind of just like learning and really setting these things up. Like we've been working. If you think this happened over a day or two, no. We've been working for like almost an entire year trying to get this partnership to work in the League of Legends scene. So, things take time. And while I disagree with the fact that they started off slow, I wanted them to make a bang. This makes up for it. Like, yeah, all is forgiven. This is the biggest announcement that we've had in League of Legends in a long time from a team, from an organization. Even FlyQuest winning a split, this completely and entirely dwarfs it. One of the things that I've been talking about and have been very vocal about is that you don't need to win. You don't need titles and championships in order to be a popular team, in order to be successful. You don't need international or domestic success. Now, having that is great. Don't get me wrong. It helps. But there are many teams who win a split and then just fade into nothingness. And it's happened multiple times. And we don't learn. Even TSM, the winningest organization, had a time where no one really cared for them. I mean, sure, they were like the little fans, but they weren't the top of the league. And if you go to the finals for like 10 splits in a row, win the most championship, no one has won championships as much as TSM, and they're not even in the league. And they can die out and eventually sell. I mean, thankfully they sold. We got their spot, but there are other ways to be popular. And one of the ways is to create really cool content or to bring in content creators who make really cool content. And the addition of Ludwick and Moist as co-owners, meaning they're invested. We're not just signing content creators, right? People criticize the Simu Liu, signing. They didn't really do much with him. I don't know what they have planned. I can't talk about that. But what I do know is that these guys are going to be completely and entirely evolved. The entire, 2 months of Ludwick trying to hit plat, maybe 3 months, I'm not entirely sure. But towards the end, where it really was heating up, him breaking down, talking about the Warwick, I hate Warwick, just like going crazy because he couldn't understand what Warwick is doing. He out-heals him, out-damages him.
No, I'm dead. Warwick's here. Dude, he moves... Warwick is so broken! Fuck, what a shit fucking character. He's on the bottom of the map, and he closes the gap within seconds! It doesn't matter where we are! He's there! I wake up, he's there! I'm at lunch, he's there! I'm in bed with my girl! Guess who? Guess who? Fuck, I hate him.
It was hilarious to see. Everyone in North America was watching it. It was great. And it happened to lead with this announcement. Probably planned. But, good marketing. What can I say? This is a team that fans will be passionate about, that content creators will be passionate about. You can bet that Ludwick, I'm pretty sure he lives in LA. He's been to the Shopify studio before for other events. So I would not be surprised if he's out there casting some of our games. Moist is probably going to co-stream all our games. I think he lives in Florida, so he's probably not going to make the trip out there. If he does, that'll be cool. But chances are we're going to have a lot of community members watching our games, whether it's your first time, whether you've always been here, whether you've hated Shopify. I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, I can't be a fan of this team. Regardless of what happened in the past year, Shopify is going to have probably the biggest week-to-week following of any team in the LCA or the LTA. I'll talk a little bit more about what I think our competitiveness and whether we can actually win or not in a later segment. But right now, I just want to talk about this announcement because it kind of dwarfs everything else. The other part of this was these jerseys. Now, this jersey is probably the best marketing spend that any team will do in 2025. Just based on the history of other teams in 2024 and years before, we don't do a great job at marketing. And I think these jerseys, $20, they're absolutely losing money on them. By the way, it sold out, and then they came out with another batch, which I'm pretty sure was bigger than the first limited batch, 250, and it also sold out. So the amount of people that have either messaged me, DM'd me, or just publicly went and be like, dude, they used to hate Shopify, they used to not want to watch our games, bought a jersey and already part of the team, have the Shopify tag in the Discord server. This single-handedly is going to change North American League of Legends. Because guess what? A team that nobody thought was going to compete is dwarfing everybody else. If you're in the first or second place and you're looking all the way towards someone, you can't even see him because he's so far back, and then all of a sudden he's outlapping you. You're just like, what the hell? Okay, what's he doing that I gotta do? Right? And it starts getting the wheels turning. When you see someone ahead of you, it's much easier to copy than having to be creative and not just being satisfied with where you are. So hopefully this motivates other teams to make cool content and bring in people who are integral to the scene and have them actually rep your brand, because winning is not a winning strategy, as funny as that sounds. And if you had any doubt about which team is going to be the most winning team, the most successful team in North America, by winning, I mean just as a brand and not in League of Legends, that varies based on roster and whatnot, let my man David tell you.
Every other team in this league, every other organization should be looking at this saying, oh my God, we need to level up right now. Because if you told me to place a bet on who I think will be the biggest org in North America in 3 years, as of right now, it's Shopify. As much as that pains me to say as a 100 Thieves fan.
Now, I probably should have done this in the beginning, but if you don't know who I am, I'm Cloud Sitke. I am Shopify superfan. Since they decided to come into the league, I've been a fan. I know it's only been a year, but I've been through a lot in that 1 year. I lost some bets. I had to do some payouts. But I always believe in this team, and with talking to people behind the scenes, knowing what they're planning and the things that they're trying to do, and really just not even the things that they're trying to do, but the mentality that they have behind things, I knew this was the team to be, and I'm glad that people are finally seeing that. Now, here's a brief introduction of our roster before we start getting into more gameplay, because week to week when I do this show, it's probably going to be more, about the game and less about the marketing and whatnot. But with this big announcement, you kind of got to talk about it, right? And hopefully as things move on, if we have bigger announcements, I'll definitely talk about them, and then getting to more League of Legends games, because that's where I come from. I do interviews and talk about the games. First, I'm going to go over our roster. We got Fudge. You should check out the video. All the videos won't be out yet, but Shopify is gonna post videos for every single player, so you can really get to know the player. But let's start with the Fudge, multiple time LCS champion, probably one of the best top laners ever since he came in. He's been a top 3 top laner. I know people are super down on him. He didn't expect to be benched. He's coming back with a fire. He went to Korea, got challenger. I think he was like top 10 or top 8 if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And yeah, he's just really motivated. I talked to some of the teammates about him, like, hey, how's Fudge playing? Is he doing well? Is he not? Everybody had really good things to say. Obviously, they're not going to talk poorly about their teammate, but the way they talk about him kind of gives off whether they're how much respect they have for the player. Second, contracts. He won not last year, but 2 years ago he won LCS. I need to figure out how to say this. I think most people know contracts. He's been playing since 2017 Cloud9. He jumped around, played for Golden Guardians, was in Academy for a couple years, had some rough years on 100T Academy and EG Academy, ends up playing with EG because, I don't want to get into that story. I do actually have a full video going over Contract's career if you want to check it out. I'll keep a link in the bio. I think it was pretty good. You can tell for yourself. He wins the LCS in 2023 summer, goes to Worlds, beats G2. Everybody remembers that moment fondly. Unfortunately, falls in the quarterfinals 3-0. Kind of got stomped. And 2024 was not great. His mid laner, Palafox, who kind of won with him in 2023, didn't look very great. I had a whole interview with Revan where I'm just like, dude, why did we pick this guy up? I'm very disappointed. He talks about it. I have a whole video saying, hey, is this guy the worst mid laner coming this year? Now, that was a question someone else posed. I used that as the title. I'm not saying he's the worst, but I do talk about the community sentiment, the fact that he's not very good, and why did we even pick this guy up? Bvoy, he came in, he's played all over the place. He's played in LPL, he's played in the LEC way back when it was called the ULCS for Misfits, if I'm not mistaken. He played in the LLA, he played in CBLOL, obviously most recently Ping Gaming. I wasn't a fan, I'm a Ping Gaming fan, I wasn't a fan of Bvoy. I felt like he didn't do enough in the finals to really make us win. And then he joined. I was critical of it, made a video about it. I was completely and entirely proven wrong. He was first team All-Pro AD carry, the best AD carry in that split. They didn't even make playoffs. Literally never happened before where an AD carry doesn't make playoffs and yet still is the best AD carry in the league. So I thought that was that shut me up. All right. I think he's gonna have a resurgence. Our support is the best support in the history of CBLOL. Think of, well, his name is Seos, I should probably say that. Think of Core JJ, but for Brazil. He unfortunately has visa issues, so we're playing with Zazel. We had Zazel last split, last year. He has some synergy with Bvoy. Hopefully that should be enough of like just let you know what our roster is and what it looks like before we actually get into games. Now we're gonna play against FlyQuest, and Fudge had this to say.
These guys are trash, so it's like it's pretty easy matchup, I would say. They're not very good in scrims recently, like not a very good team. Thank you to all the fans who support and watch Shopify Rebellion. We love Shopify Rebellion. Let's go Shopify. We're gonna win the LTA. Boom.
Now, obviously, FlyQuest won the most recent split. They made it to quarterfinals. They almost beat Gen G, almost being the key word there, right? But they showed they had a very good showing, and I think it's going to be a difficult game, but I do think we're going to win. And I gave a couple of reasonings on the podcast that I do with Marn. I think that they're going to come in a little bit lax. I think with a new year, things are a little bit up in the air. The meta's different. It's Fearless Draft. It's not the same as it used to be before. The map has changed. There are more objectives. I think it takes time for people to really learn. And so as things get more complicated or different, it kind of lowers the bar for everybody. And it makes it a little bit more even or more equal in the beginning until, the better teams are better. And I think that as time goes on, FlyQuest will be a top team. But I think coming out of the gates, I think the Shopify team has a lot to prove. And just from talking to the players, I feel confident that to say, hey, we're going to beat FlyQuest. I think that would be an awesome statement. And regardless of whether we win or not, it's not like this doesn't kick us out of the tournament or anything. We still have another life. But I just want to see this team, really put forward a lot of, aggressiveness. I want to see an aggressive team, not necessarily in like, hey, they're fighting everything, but like we're not afraid. I want to feel like we have a plan. We're sticking to that plan, and we are aggressively like maintaining that plan. If our plan is like, hey, give up the first 2 dragons, don't fight for the first 15 minutes and then absolutely demolish them once we have 2 items. I want to see us go all in. I don't want to see us to just wait and lose. So that's sort of what I'm hoping to expect from this team. Again, we're playing with a sub. It sucks when things like this happen. His visa, just Seos' visa is not ready. What can you do? But I think you guys are gonna love the players, love the team, and I will be posting an episode of this show every week for all the Shopify fans, because I know we got a lot now. I've been getting a lot of messages, which is really cool to see that a lot of people have embraced the rebellion. So to everybody who's a fan, all I want to say is welcome to the rebellion.